Good morning, everyone. This is Tony from her Homestead Skills. So this morning I decided I'd get my chores done bright and early, get dressed, get ready to go out early, because I finally did locate a store that had my wafer paper that I've been looking for, and that's been quite the dilemma. I suspect that a lot of stores have gone out of business in the last few years for being locked down for 2 years. People can't survive, really, So yes, there used to be a cake decorating type store that was not too far from me that I assumed would have the wafer paper. And that is the type of store that I eventually found that carries it. And they had it either in the 10 sheets or 100 sheets. Now I don't do that much baking that 100 sheets are of any use to me, so I was only interested in the 10-pack. And while I was there, it was quite an interesting store, so I decided to hang in and do a little bit of look around and see what I could find. Now, it is mainly cake decorating, so it was geared towards that end. But I did find, after asking a fair bit, because they had hundreds of cookie cutters. I mean, literally hundreds of cookie cutters. But I was looking for a biscuit cutter specifically, and they had on the shelves just a smaller one and much larger one. And after chatting with the girls for quite a while, she finally went and looked upstairs, and sure enough, she did find a 2.5 inch. I was looking for 3 inches, but I settled for the 2.5. And looking at this label, it really is a biscuit cutter, 2.5 inch, made in the USA. Awesome. They had a pack of, I don't know, every size imaginable, I guess. But I wouldn't use it, so it would have been a waste of money to buy the whole pack. When I think about it now, it might have been useful to have, but I can always go back for it, and the single was only a couple of dollars. So I'll stick with the single, and don't know if I'll be ever needing anything more than that, but if I do, I know where to buy it now. I also know where to get my wafer paper, and that is they just look like sheets of 8.5 by 11 paper, and there's actually 10 in this package. And yeah, all they do, the purpose of wafer paper is to be as a barrier for a sticky candy, basically. And it is a nougat type candy that I'll be making, and it's basically made with sugar, honey, eggs, and nuts. And yeah, the sugar and the honey is all melted, and it does become very sticky, and that is why the paper put on both sides of this is absolutely perfect. This is edible, and so when you do cut it into pieces, you do have this paper on both sides to hold on to. I absolutely love this candy, and it's usually only available at Christmas time. And I thought I would try to make it. I've never made it before. And I thought I'd try and make my own version of it and see how I like it. Now, the recipes that I've been looking at, some of them have pistachios in them, some of them have various amount of nuts, some of them have fruits. I don't have pistachios on hand, and it just depends on how soon I want to make them, and I suspect I'll make them this afternoon. And probably I'll just be using a variety of nuts, mostly almonds and filberts, I suppose. I don't think that walnuts and pecans are suitable for this candy, but we'll see how that turns out. Now, as well as, because I was out on the road and I thought it is Tuesday, and Tuesday is the day that one chain of thrift stores that we have here has discounts on Tuesday. So I thought, well, since I'm out and about, I might be a good idea to get out and see what I can find. I mean, one never knows. That's the thing with thrift stores, is that you have no idea from one day to the next. You can go 10 times and find absolutely nothing, and you could go once and just hit the jackpot. Now, I made sure that the thrift store actually opened up at 9 o'clock, and the bakery supply place opened up at 10, and I figured, okay, I'll hit the thrift store first at 9 and hopefully leave by 9:30-ish and get to the bakery store for when they open and get back. Now, I actually hit the jackpot at the thrift store. There were a lot of interesting items, and of course I always gear towards mason jars and the cast iron, and there were a number of pieces of cast iron, but there was only one that was interesting to me. I have so much cast iron that I just look for that special piece now, and that special piece could be either a shape that I don't have, or a brand that I don't have, or a quality brand. And yeah, the older ones are absolutely awesome, as long as they're in reasonably good shape. And I hit the jackpot today. And although there were a number of cast iron pieces there, and I checked them all out, and this is the only one I decided that I would buy today. And it is a Griswold. And this is the very first time I have ever found a Griswold at a thrift store. I know they exist. They are very rare in Canada. I know that they are a very sought-after brand name in the US, but in Canada they are quite rare. And it's a nice shape. It has a lot of encrusting on the edges, which I'm sure I can clean off. So it's going to take a bit of effort to get this fellow cleaned, but there's no rust. It's just a lot of baked on crap. So yeah, my very first Griswold find at a thrift shop, and so I figure that I hit the jackpot today. So another one to add to my collection. And the second item that I purchased from the thrift shop was this dough mixer. And a lot of the girls asked me, what is that? They didn't know what it was, but I've seen it used. So I know that it is to mix up dough. So if I'm going to make some waffle dough or pancake dough, this is perfect for that, to mix it up in the bowl without having to put it through the blender, especially if I'm only going to make a small quantity like that. So, and I only paid $3 for this. Oh, by the way, that Griswold, original price on it was $19.99, $20. And my 30% discount took it down to just, yes, I just went in to get the bill and or the receipt. And yes, the original price for the Griswold was $19.99. The discount at 30% was $6. So I paid $13.99. Of course, tax on top of that, obviously. That is, you can't avoid the tax. But all in all, this thing cost me a total of $15.81. So, I mean, our taxes are not that cheap here. But that's still quite a score. I don't know if I can make that visible, if you can see that. Anyway, I can probably take a snapshot and post it. And this item was $3. So, all in all, a great day for thrift shopping, which you don't see too often. And then obviously I headed off to the cake decorating store, and that was a sight in itself. As I said, all the cookie cutters, just about any shape or design you ever want to see. Walls, they had walls and walls of cookie cutters and molds, but they were, as I say, mainly for cake decorating and cookie cutting. Not so much for pastry. I don't think they were. Like, I'm more of a pastry person. I like to make pies rather than cakes. So But the full paper that I was looking for is for candy, so that's a different thing altogether. But I do have some lovely pictures of some of the items, and this wall of cookie cutters was just amazing. Okay, and I will post some of those pictures, both of the thrift store first and then some of the cake decorating store. Anyway, this is Tony from Her Homestead Skills. Hope you enjoy this video, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.